This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 21st day of July in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here is what we're tracking tonight. Guyana's Foreign Minister Dr. Karen Cummings told the Permanent Council meeting of the Organization of American States that there has been no breakdown in the rule of law in Guyana, and she chided some members of the international community over their premature statements on the situation in the country. Dr. Cummings reminded that the electoral process in Guyana has found itself being challenged in a number of court cases since the 2nd of March elections.
Despite the delay due to legal challenges, there is evidence throughout all this that Guyana remains governed by the rule of law with full respect for the separation of powers and the independence of the judiciary. There has been no breakdown of the rule of law in Guyana, and my delegation wishes to reiterate the following facts: that the electoral process is managed by the Elections Commission, GCOM, an independent body constitutionally charged to conduct and supervise the elections, that the executive branch of government has never tried to influence, interfere with, or instruct GCOM, that the President attempted, with the agreement of the leader of the opposition, to find a way forward by inviting CARICOM to be the interlocutor and to support a recount by GCOM, that the CARICOM proposal for a recount of all electoral districts as a means of assuaging the contesting parties and defining and determining a final credible count. The word credible is underlined.
The foreign minister said it must be noted that the electoral process in Guyana is managed by the Independent Guyana Elections Commission, and it is the commission that has not made a final declaration. She said the president of Guyana has repeatedly stated that he will abide by whatever declaration is made by the chairperson of the Elections Commission, in keeping with the laws of Guyana.
At all times, the executive branch, GCOM, and indeed all stakeholders have been respectful of the rulings of the courts. President Granger has stated repeatedly that he shall accept the declaration of the results by the Elections Commission, which allow for a democratically elected government to be sworn into office, and those were quotation marks. Guyana is a democratic nation and intends to remain so. Further, there is no breakdown in law and order in Guyana. Guyana continues to remain a peaceful, law-abiding state. And throughout its lengthy process, which has been guided by several constitutional provisions, the people of Guyana have remained patient, calm, and peaceful. The international community should therefore also be patient and not seek to influence unduly the constitutional and legal processes which are currently ongoing in Guyana.
The OAS Permanent Council meeting was requested by the Secretary General of the OAS, as the body expressed concern with a more than 4-month wait for the final declaration of the election results. Dr. Cummings told the OAS that Guyana remains a peaceful, law-abiding state, and throughout the process, which has been guided by constitutional provisions, the people of Guyana have remained calm, patient, and peaceful. The foreign minister was supported in her statement before the OAS by the Attorney General of Guyana Senior Counsel, Basil Williams, who said the appearance before the OAS Permanent Council is premature, since the matter is still ongoing in keeping with the constitutional provisions and there has been no final declaration by the Elections Commission.
We are trying to get this thing over with, and we hope that we will have a very quick and peaceful resolution of this matter.
The Attorney General also said while some in the international community have painted a doom and gloom picture of Guyana, the situation on the ground is very different. He said the government will continue to respect the rulings of the court, and he reiterated the president's position that he will abide by the declaration of the GCOM chairman. More news coming up in just a moment.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes. Hello, boys and girls. As you prepare to write your exams, there are a few things you will have to do each day so that you and those around you can be safe and healthy. Please remember, on the day of your exam, you must wear a mask correctly, covering your mouth and nose before entering the school compound. Wash your hands with soap and water at the entrance of the school at the sink provided for 20 seconds. Paying attention to the palm and back of your hands, between your fingers and their tips. Dry your hands with a clean tissue and dispose in the closed bin nearby. Boys and girls, your temperature will be tested by an official. Then you will go to the designated waiting area with the floor signs and markings clearly visible, standing or sitting 2 meters or 6 feet apart at all times. It is now time to start your exam. The invigilator will direct you to the examination room. All the best. Boys and girls, playing and gathering are not allowed. Parents, the Ministry of Education thanks you for the support you have given the children during the time at home. However, in the interest of everyone's well-being, you will not be allowed to enter the school compound. Parents and guardians, we are counting on your support in picking up the children promptly after their exam. Remember, the Ministry of Education will provide transport for children who are living far away that require that assistance. Please be reminded that vending outside the school's compound is prohibited. Only authorized canteen vendors with a copy of their food handler certificate and wearing a mask, food gloves, apron, hairnet, and a hat will be allowed. Always remember to wear your mask correctly, wash your hands, and stay safe. And let's win the fight against COVID-19. A message from the Ministry of Education.
Hi Guyana, it's your boy Kimo Paul here. Reminding you to stay at least 1 meter away from persons, or 3 feet, to avoid contracting the flu or the COVID-19. It is also important that we stay at home and to avoid gatherings of more than 5 persons. We must all play our part, so let's protect ourselves and our families from COVID-19. We must all play our part. The Ministry of Public Health cannot do this alone, so let's all come together and fight this virus.
For further information, check our website www.health.gov.gy or visit the Ministry's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter page.
Welcome back, and we return to that OAS meeting today. The former Prime Minister of Jamaica, Bruce Golding, who headed the observer mission of the OAS at Guyana's 2nd of March elections, told the OAS Permanent Council meeting this afternoon that he remains disappointed that the Guyana electoral process has still not come to an end. During the virtual meeting, Mr. Golding recounted Elections Day in Guyana and the events that followed, including the Region 4 declaration fiasco and the court cases that followed. Golding told the OAS that the people of Guyana deserve a peaceful transfer of power.
A litmus test of any democracy is the peaceful and orderly transfer of power if that is so ordained by the express will of the people. Sadly, Guyana has failed that test. The people of Guyana are not to be blamed. They expressed their will in a commendably peaceful and orderly manner on March 2nd. But the pernicious actions of a few have wreaked considerable damage to Guyana's image and reputation.
Mr. Golding said Guyana might have now found itself failing at the bedrock of democracy.
The people of Guyana have been patient for much longer than can reasonably be expected, while they await the results of a process that was, by all accounts, well conducted on election day. They must wholeheartedly be commended for this. They deserve a peaceful transition of government based on the majority vote as reflected in the recount and in support of democracy and the rule of law.
And the head of the OAS Observer Team also told the Permanent Council meeting that even if the political situation in Guyana reaches an amicable and peaceful resolution, he fears that it could take an entire generation for the damage to be repaired.
Even if this debacle is soon and satisfactorily resolved, it will perhaps take a generation and significant institutional reforms for that damage to be fully repaired. The people of Guyana did not deserve this.
The former Jamaican Prime Minister said he believes it is time for Guyana to move on and have a final declaration of the election results based on the recount. The OAS in its report on the elections had raised serious concern about the Region 4 declaration, with Golding stating that it was an attempt at clear fraud. The OAS observed both the elections and the recount. Let's tell you now that the attorneys for private citizen Masenga Jones have moved to the Court of Appeal in an effort to throw out the ruling by the Chief Justice, who has declared that the vote recount was valid and only the votes from the recount ought to be used for the final declaration of the elections. Through her attorneys, Jones is asking the Court of Appeal to throw out the entire decision of the Chief Justice. They are contending that the Chief Justice erred in several instances during her decision on the recount order being valid and the final declaration being made from the recount being lawful. In her judgment yesterday, the Chief Justice ruled that the court had jurisdiction to hear the matter, and in so doing found the recount cannot be considered to be invalid. She said the recount was endorsed by the Caribbean Court of Justice, and the order for the recount did not create a new election regime, and its creation following the agreement of the President and the opposition leader was within the powers of the Elections Commission. Having found the order to be valid, the Chief Justice also said the recount could not therefore be considered to be invalidated, and the results from the recount would have overtaken the declared results by the returning officer. She also agreed with the CHICOM chairperson's directions and the Chief Elections Officer to compile his final report based on the votes from the recount. The Chief Justice said it must be made clear that the Chief Election Officer is not a lone ranger, and therefore his actions must be guided by the Elections Commission. The Chief Justice also noted that given the recount order and the directions of the chairperson of the commission, only data from the recount can be used for the compilation of the final report. The 10 declarations that were made back in March, she said, cannot be resurrected. No date has been set for the appeal hearing, but all of the respondents in the High Court matter have now been named as respondents in the appeal matter. Although the number of coronavirus cases in Guyana has been climbing steadily, two of the country's largest regions, which recorded the first set of cases, are now free of any active case. According to health officials, Region 4, which is home to Guyana's capital of Georgetown, and Region 10, which is home to Linden, have seen full recoveries of their last set of cases. For the first time since the pandemic started in Guyana, the Diamond Hospital in Region 4, which is used to house the majority of positive cases, currently has no COVID-19 patient. 2 days ago, the last active case, who was a resident from Linden, was discharged after making a full recovery. Region 4 Medical Officer Dr. Quincy Jones confirmed that there are no active cases for the region. He said the cases that are at the Georgetown Hospital's COVID-19 ICU are all cases from outside of the region. He said the medical teams in the region have been working well to deal with the cases in the region. Since the start of COVID-19, Region 4 recorded a total of 120 cases, with 14 deaths. Region 10 recorded 11 cases with 1 death. The interior communities of regions 1, 7, and 9 have now emerged as the new hotspots for the disease, with the majority of the current active cases. Region 1 has recorded more than 100 cases. Health officials continue to express worry about the rising numbers in those interior regions and believe citizens there ought to follow the health guidelines. Guyana has started a gradual reopening of the country, with businesses and government agencies being allowed to fully reopen their doors with strict systems in place to safeguard employees and visitors. The wearing of face masks in public is now mandatory across Guyana, including in the regions with no active cases. With 2 new cases of coronavirus being recorded in the past 24 hours, the Public Health Ministry has revealed that persons are more likely to contract the virus in regions 1 and 7 than region 4. The 2 regions have seen a skyrocketing of cases in the past month and have now become the hotspots for the pandemic in Guyana.
Even though the numbers in region 4 are higher, you are on average 9.5 times more likely to be infected in region 1 than in region 4, and you are 7 times more likely to get infected in region 7 than in region 4. And this is because of the concentration of infections by population size in regions 1 and 7.
Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. Karen Gordon-Boyle. She said in terms of active cases, regions 1 and 7 again come out on top.
The regions with the highest percentage of cases are numbers 1 and 7. But attention, nonetheless, must be focused on the other regions in the graph, particularly region 9, where their cases have been spiking in the last 2 weeks. I wish to draw to your attention that July has been significant, with region 1 reporting 5 cases, region 4, 4 cases, region 7, 15 cases, and region 9, 6 cases. It is critical for us to monitor in the coming weeks the evolution of the incidents in all regions, especially region 9, which shares the border with Brazil, which is now the epicenter of Latin America. It is likely that cross-border movement may have taken place, hence the need for intensive case surveillance and case tracking.
Dr. Gordon-Boyle said citizens need to continue wearing their masks even in those regions where some of the restrictions have been eased. It has been announced that increased monitoring in the interior regions is taking place. On the police blotter, Kaitro News sub-editor and former government cultural advisor and co-founder of the Citizenship Initiative, Ruel Johnson, was taken into custody this morning and questioned about rape allegations. The allegations were made by an ex-girlfriend of Johnson who in a recent social media post detailed alleged instances of sexual and physical abuse at the hands of Johnson. Johnson was questioned about the rape allegations at the Albertown police station and later released on self-bail as the investigations continue. A senior police source has indicated that once the investigation file is completed, it will be forwarded to the police force's legal advisor and possibly the office of the DPP for advice on possible charges. In a Facebook post of his own after the allegations first surfaced, Johnson denied being abusive to the ex-girlfriend. The two reportedly got involved in a relationship while he was 32 and the young woman was 16 years old. Across the Region is coming up next.
We give thanks for real. You spend all that money on your watch. How much time you spend with your son? So much money in the club. How much you spend with the ones you love? The simple things are your blessings.
Cheese, please. Remember Tyrus Riley, this one we aim to please. The music will never ease. Cheese, please.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways. Knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Coverdon, East Bank, Demerara.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. Getting your workplace ready for COVID-19. Surfaces such as desks, tables, and telephones with keyboards must be wiped with disinfectant regularly, or at least every few hours. Use containers of hand sanitizers and place them in prominent places around the workplace. Provide access to places where staff can wash their hands with soap and water, and promote regular hand washing at the workplace. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Across the region right now, the Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines governments have agreed to sell their shares in the cash-strapped regional airline Liat to accommodate a new reorganizational plan outlined by Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown, in an interview with the Caribbean Media Corporation following Monday night's shareholders meeting, also announced that an agreement had been reached to sell 3 of the aircraft that had been acquired with funds provided by the Barbados-based Caribbean Development Bank. The other major shareholder government of the Antigua-based airline is Dominica. The Prime Minister of Antigua said the proceeds from the sale would be utilized to repay or to reduce the outstanding debt. Earlier, Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt said the proposal submitted by Brown to the meeting to prevent the liquidation of Liat needed to be further fine-tuned. The Antigua plan said if the existing shareholder governments are not interested in investing in the reorganized Liat, they will be requested to surrender their shares for $1 Eastern Caribbean dollar. Still in the aviation sector, the Trinidad and Tobago-owned Caribbean Airlines says it will restart flight operations between Kingston, Jamaica and Nassau in the Bahamas at the end of the month, reminding passengers of the various protocols that have been put in place to lessen the spread of the coronavirus. The airline in a statement said all customers traveling into Jamaica must first complete an online screening and application process to receive the necessary approvals for entry. According to the company, it is imperative that on the receipt of the approval email, applicants follow the additional instructions in the email. The instructions allows them to download their travel authorization document. Many Caribbean countries serviced by Caribbean Airlines and other airlines had closed their borders as the region dealt with the pandemic. Many of those countries are now reopening their borders. And finally tonight, international news. The UK government badly underestimated the Russian threat and the response it required. According to an inquiry, the Intelligence and Security Committee's long-awaited report into Russian activity in the UK said the government was playing catch-up and needed to take immediate action. The report also claimed that the government in the UK made no effort to investigate Russian interference in the EU referendum. Number 10 Downing Street said the government was fully aware of the significant and enduring threat Russia posed. The inquiry covered a number of topics, including disinformation campaigns, cyber tactics, and Russian expatriates in the United Kingdom. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.